So, Sam Bird, looking back to Hong Kong, what kind of feelings do prevail?
Hong Kong was obviously a great weekend for us as a team and myself personally. To come away from there leading the Drivers' Championship was a nice feeling, and also for the team to be right up there in the Constructors' Championship was very important as well. I think that anything you do sporting-wise, if it's a championship, if you can get off to a good start, it puts you in a good mindset, puts you in good stead for the rest of the season. If you leave round one and you're 20-30 points behind, you've got to play catch-up. Now, people can do that and it's okay, but it just makes it a bit more difficult.
But then in the second race, you had something like a second punishment for the first race. So isn't that something you, well, think a little bit differently about?
Yeah, I mean, I would have qualified third. Felix spun at turn one, we would have been second. Eduardo then spun with 2 laps to go. Could I have won race 2 as well? Possibly, maybe. From the starting position I would have been in. But look, it's ifs and buts. The FIA are in control of the championship and I had the 2 penalties, so I think it was a good recovery drive to 5th.
Now we're here in Marrakesh, another track, another kind of track. Can you lead us a little bit around here and say what's special about Marrakesh?
Yeah, it's a very difficult track actually, and extremely challenging for the energy conservation. So it feels like a very long lap for Formula E cars, lots of energy saving, lots of regeneration of the battery. The main thing as well, also driving it at 200 kilowatts, is just how slippery the surface is here. It's very easy to run wide, make mistakes, lock brakes under braking zones, and as I saw last year, I actually put the car into the wall in a free practice session. So it's overall very tricky, quite difficult, but rewarding when you get it right.
In Hong Kong, you choose a very peculiar spot to overtake. Is there something you have in mind here as well?
It was just one of the strengths of our car that weekend. We were weak in other areas. That was an area where if I was closer I could attack, and I was able to do it a couple of times. Out of hairpins onto long straights, our car isn't as efficient as the others. It's plain to see, it's quite obvious, so I had to do it somewhere else.
But again, here, is there any turn you have in mind thinking of, well, that's my spot?
No, not necessarily here. There's nowhere here that really stands out as being one of those places where you can catch someone by surprise. There's obviously plenty of overtaking places on this circuit. We saw last year many overtaking moves being done with people lift and coasting later into the corner, but nowhere where you could really surprise someone.